Hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club with 4 race starts. We're going to start with our Category 4 riders, then 3, 2 and 1. Our riders lined up in yellow, that is our Category 1 riders. In green, our Category 2. In blue, Category 3. And Category 4 in red. In the first 1.5 kilometres, the first big selection is made. If the second group get back in, and they are chasing hard and closing the distance down behind these riders, then they're going to have expended extra energy on the way in. Category 2 leaders at the moment, well, that is still a good sized pack. They are onto the climb. They've done about 400 meters of the climb, and they are looking good. At the front of Category 3, Angel Hadlock on the offensive again. Georgina Jones leading this up. She's got Francis Vasquez, Lloyd and Co, Hamilton, Alze, Simkin in there, but they are being intersected and being passed by the Hadlock Express train. We started off the day on those start sheets with 18 riders, but possibly going to be in contention. We are down to 6, 52 seconds behind the time gap at the summit. 52 seconds from first to fourth. The gap between the leader overall, that's Angel Hadlock with Stefani Piccolo, 2 leaders. They're leading there at 30k. Behind the Category 1 leaders are at 28k, so 2k pretty much separating the front of the race from the front of Category 1. Piccolo's kicking at 5.2. Hadlock starts to kick, and what a kick! That was 9 watts per kilo came out of Hadlock there as she came into the finish. 9 watts per kilo should be enough to do this. She goes under the finishing line. Angel Hadlock takes the win here.
Hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. We are here today for the May final. This is the women's race, and well, the month has been set up for a fantastic finale. Here with me, Emma Martin. Matt Payne, my co-commentator. Well, he's in the studio, he's on the knobs and faders, but he doesn't have a voice today. So you do just have me. Well, it's not going to be disappointing. It's all right, I've just left a pause there for Matt to shake his head. As we are heading to Arabia, we're heading to the Jebel Hafit for the women's race today. 35 kilometres of racing, 905 metres of climb, and you can see it in front of you there. We have 5 sprints along the way at 300 metres in length. At 9.5 kilometres, the aquarium climb comes. That's 3.5 kilometres in length with an average gradient of 2.9%, but it will indeed split the groups. We roll through the Silent Dune sprint, we roll through the Al Ain sprint, and then 25.4 kilometres into this race, we hit the Jebel Hafit. Well, it's 9.5 kilometres with an average gradient of 7%, but there are some exceptionally steep sections on this climb. It will indeed top 13% in places. This is really one today for those riders with climbing legs. So Category 1 are down in the start pen, 16 minutes till they start, because they are going to be our last riders away today. Category 2 in green, Category 3 in blue, Category 4 in red. They are going to be our first riders out of the start pen today. 26 riders in total on the start sheets in Category 4 today, and a number of teams evident today. So Kintsugi, represented by Garcia, Lenore, Tan, Paolo and Tanglian. Pedal Dancers, Fielder, Ellos and Baggett. Petit Four, well, Jones, Hamilton, Smithson, Lloyd and Francis. Phoenix, Narvaez, De Silva, Narvaez, that's Julia, and Cynthia on the line today. Sarasuk and Ferron. Strong Girls, represented by Barco, Valencia, Solorzano, Vasquez and Alvarez. Well, it is going to be strong girls, strong women who win this race today, because those legs, well, that Jebel Hafit is going to really challenge our riders today. We have 2 riders not in teams in category 4. They're all down on the start line, ready to go. Away go, category 4 on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. This is the May final. This is category 4, and they're swinging out of the start pen out onto the Jebel Hafit. We're in with Manuela Vasquez at the moment. Vasquez, part and parcel of the Strong Girls squad. Now, in terms of the team competition today, 3 to 5 riders in each of the teams, and there are 5 teams competing today in category 4. Most of them have the full remit of 5 riders, just the pedal dancers with 3 today. So it's going to be a really interesting competition. Now, for me, Petit Four have got to be, I think, the team to beat. Now, Jones has had 2 firsts and a third. Hamilton's had a 5th, Lloyd's had a 3rd, and Simone Francis has had a 2nd and a 4th this month. So for me, they look on paper like the team to beat, but the pedal dancers, Elos has had a 1st and a 2nd, Baggett's had a 5th. You know, there are some really interesting tactical elements when the team competition comes into play. Now we're in with Adriana Barco, and we can see the size of the screen in front of her. Great set up there in front of her. She's part and parcel of this main pack. They're up and rolling just shy of 40 kilometers an hour, 800 meters into this course, and the pack nice and tight on the course at the moment. Now, we said there were 5 sprints along the way, and those sprints will give us an indication of what is happening in the race. We will see and may see some of the riders actually going for the sprint sections, aiming to take that green skin suit. Now, no prizes, no other than kudos, and of course the green skin suit for the sprint competition. Riders being awarded points in their category 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 according to the fastest time through each of the sprints, and those green skin suits, well, awarded for the person who picks up the most points. So we will indeed, or may indeed, see it change throughout the race today. So the first sprint coming at 2 kilometres into the race. We see Geneva Elos there, sat there with the fan, and riders needing the fans wherever they are riding indoors. A fan, part and parcel of that essential equipment. At 1.5 kilometres now into this race, they are going to be seeing that sprint come shortly. In fact, on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, where you're seeing the overall map picture of where the races are, you can see the green banner. That indicates the start of the sprint. The second green banner in the distance, the end of the sprint segment. Now, the climb segments, banners again, but polka dot banners, not green ones. Well, there you go. It's right in front of our category 4 riders. They're lined up and rolling into the section. So Jones is here, Lloyd, Garcia, Alvarez, Lenore, all in the mix here as we roll through. Now, will any of those riders stretch their legs? Not seeing any big power coming out of our riders at the moment. It's looking like the group content to roll through as a group early doors at the moment into the May final. And well, I would imagine this category 4 group, they are saving their legs for the climb. Saving their legs for the climb. It is indeed the category 4 race. We've got one rider just stretching. Oh, that is a sneaky move from Jenny Tan. Rolling with the group, putting a little sprint in at the end, just enough to take the fastest time through and be awarded that green skin suit. Lovely sneaky move from Tan today. So Jenny Tan, part of that Kintsugi team. Wow, she's picked up that skin suit and away she goes. We are in now with category 3 in the start pens. 26 riders on the start sheets in category 3. The teams, well, the Caramello Koalas are here. Hyde, Sonnerson, Warren and Chazekik. megawatts. Well, this is the team led, I think, by Angel Ann Hadlock. She's had a first and 2 seconds this month. The Pedal Queens are here. So are the Seasoned Sisters and the Wildcats now. Will the megawatts take this? Will the Pedal Queens challenge them? Are the Seasoned Sisters going to take the win again? They did indeed in the April final. Well, we've got 9 seconds, 8 seconds, 7 seconds till the start. Then we will find out after 35 kilometres of racing. Away go, Category 3 on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. This is the May final. This is Category 3. They're taking a sweeping start out of that start pen onto the boardwalk. So it is indeed Ella Vink is right up the front here with Hyde, with Takanis, with Sonnerson and Marin. All of these riders, in fact, it's Gina de Gracia who is leading this out at the moment. She's part and parcel of that Pedal Queens team. She's had a 4th place this month already, and it's going to be interesting to see how she does today. She's got some fantastic competition in this Category 3 race. Last time the women raced on the Yebel Hafit, well, it was Johnson in Category 3 who took the win. Hadlock, Barragan, Vink, Kokkonen, Holweiler, Zugala, Giraldo are all in this race today, and for me this is one of the closest competitions in Category 3. The spread of riders who are taking those top positions and moving up to Category 2. Lucy Esdale and Aline Francisco de Silva moving up to Category 2 this month. So great to see the progression from Category 3 to Category 2, but whilst it might open up the top end of Category 3 a little, Noveline Kokkonen just there in shot at the moment. You can see the concentration early on in this Category 3 race. So just saying, the 2 riders moving up, opening up the top a little bit, but we've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 riders who have had top 5 positions left in the category. So Gina de Gracia leading this pack out at the moment. We can see the concentration on her face on the screen as well. It's a tight pack in Category 3, nicely spread across the road, indicating they're all roughly rolling at the same pace. De Gracia leading them on, just pushing the pace a little. Vink in 2, Barragan in 3, Alzat in 4, Giraldo in 5, Marin is there as well. Just coming over and closing the gap to De Gracia as they head into Ferrari World. So the sprint coming after Ferrari World, and that indeed is the first sprint being taken by Jenny Tan in Category 4. Carla Lenore, her teammate in that Kintsugi team, coming through the second fastest time. Isabel Alzat at the moment from the Strong Girls in 3. Let's take a look and see what happens when Category 3 head through that first sprint. A little bit more of a stretch on the group than we saw in Category 4, and the pace is a lot higher. So the pace being pushed at the moment. Gina de Gracia is still up there at the front of this group, but she's been joined by some of the other riders. Now, exactly as we saw Jenny Tan do, we've got riders going up and over the top and just stretching themselves off the front of the group, and it's Gina de Gracia who put in 8 watts per kilo, and she does indeed take that green skin suit. Now, really interesting to see riders not wanting to sprint the entire distance and rolling through as a pack, and one rider or 2, as we saw there in Category 3, stretching their legs at the end to take that green skin suit. Well, Gina de Gracia doing exactly what Jenny Tan did last time, and on the screen at the moment we're watching Jenny Tan do that again through the next sprint section. Category 2 are down in the start pen. 25 riders on the start sheets in category 2 today, and this is going to be one strong competition. So the Globetrotters, the Level Maniacs, the Sunday Crew, Team Collide and the Velociraptors all in the team competition today. Well, for me, Team Collide, Anna Embrings had 2 fifths, Jeremy Prado's had a first and a fifth, Hermansen's had a first, a third and 2 fourths. Lundin's had a fourth and Kasani's had a first and 2 seconds. They have got to be the team on form this month and potentially on fire today. What can the Level Maniacs, the Velociraptors, the Globetrotters and the Sunday Crew do? Let's take a look and see. This is category 2. Away they go. We're in with Holly Bergen. She's right in the middle of this mix, but Stefania Sanchez, Anna Embring, Julia Walkenhurst, Marcel Smithers, Kimberly Miller are all in this group at the moment as they come piling out of the start pen today. Category 2 up to pace really quickly, over 40 kilometres an hour within the first 300 metres. This group are really moving. Ursulia Kasani is here, and you know, she has been having a phenomenal month in May with that first place and the 2 seconds. You know, it was indeed last week on the outer loop that she took that first position. So Kasani absolutely on form, but she's not the only one. Lam Kong's taken a win. She took a win in the Wollongong course. Now, interestingly, it was Prado who took the win on the Heritage Climb course. But all 3 of those courses this month, very different to the Jebel Hafit because the climbs do not come at the end. The climbs have come throughout this month in the mid part of the course. Today, it's one final climb, one long climb, 9.5 kilometres of climbing towards the end of this course. Well, Emily Mabin is on the front of the pack at the moment, but the group are continually rolling through. A very, very steady pace, a very, very steady start from these category 2 women. Montgomery, Weston, Mabin, Smithers, all in here at the moment. Just seen Rosa Herrero as well, one of those riders who's progressed from category 3 very recently, but is holding her own in the category 2 race. Category 2 riders, well, they will be coming through the city at the moment, but shortly hit that Ferrari showroom. You can see on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen that sprint up ahead. Let's have a little run through the rest of the screen at the moment. You can see we're in with Wendy McAlpine. She is on the right-hand side of the screen. She's the rider highlighted in blue. That also means that on the top of the screen, the stats that you can see relate to McAlpine. So 125 watts, 179. Oh, she's also on screen at the moment as well, but when those watts are in green, she's in the draft. When they're white, she isn't. The time elapsed, Wendy's heart rate, and also her cadence. Now, on the very top right-hand corner of the screen, you can see the profile of the course coming up just in a small dip at the moment. Down in the bottom, you can see they're just going to start climbing out. It's a very gradual climb, 0.7%, 1% now just rising, and then the profile very flat. The profile will change as the riders progress through the course. Now, category 2 coming up to that first sprint of the day. Are we going to see the same tactics that we've seen from category 3 and category 4? Well, the pack rolling in steady as one group to this sprint from category 2. Vittori is the rider leading them through. Stefania Sanchez is there. Wendy McAlpine playing close attention, but this pack rolling very steadily. De Gracia from the Pedal Queens having the fastest time at the moment, and I think she's possibly going to hold that, because this category 2 pack, nobody pushing off the front. They are hanging this and waiting for that final climb. They know this is going to be some extremely stiff competition. So category 2 coming through that sprint section, the first sprint of the day, and not beating the times of any of those category 3 riders because they were just rolling through. Category 1 now down in the start pen. They're the only group of riders not away yet, and it's going to be a great competition. 18 riders, 5 teams. Ablock International, well, second last month to the Sweet Sensations. Afito skier here, fully calibrated, peak performers, and of course that team who won last month, the Sweet Sensations. Now, Ablock International, Holdcroft, Larson and Penner. 2 fifths and a 4th amongst those 3 riders. Peak performers, Kolczynski's had 2/3 and a 2nd. Biarhead's had a 5th, but every member of the Sweet Sensations has been on the podium this month. Can they do it again? Velt, Fua and Bruni. Well, it's a sweet team. Away go, Category 1. They are rolling out of those start pens. Now, it's the smallest race field today with just 18 riders on the start sheets. But I think this is going to be extremely tactical today because we've got that big climb at the end. And all 18 of these riders are absolutely capable of being in the pack at the base of the climb, unless one of the teams really lays it down and has a set of tactics in the bag that they play out today. Well, Afito skier may be one of those teams. Calmon, Gonzalez, Rua and Giovanni, they're on the screen at the moment, both on their home trainers and on the screen as part and parcel of this leading Category 1 pack. They've just rolled out the start pens, and actually we've got one rider just distanced off the back at the moment, but Kalman, Tidholm, Velt, Penner, Van Hove, Kolczynski and Fua all within the group. So is Vicky Whitelaw. As we just take a little bit of a look back to see if we can see the rider who is in trouble, but Kalman, Bruni are there, Biarhead is there, Manshandi is there, Tiffany Penner. Now, Tiffany Penner's been riding very strongly since she came up from Category 2. In fact, she took 5th place last week on the Outer Loop course. Now, the Outer Loop course, one of those courses that we have been through to in May for Qualifier 3. We went to Wollongong in early May. We went to the Alula Heritage Climb course in Qualifier 2. All 3 of those courses have a large climb mid-course. Mid-course today, we do indeed have a climb at 9.5 kilometres, but it's the aquarium climb, and it's only a small climb. So 3.5 kilometres in length with an average gradient of 2.9%. And we can see on Tidholm's screen there, you can see the race playing out in front of her, and the race is playing out in front of us as well. Now, that aquarium climb may be one of the areas that we see an attack take place, but with the quality of this Category 1 race field, I cannot imagine we are going to see much of the group dwindle. 18 starters. It's a good, strong group, all tight, all together. Engstrom, Tidholm at the front, Larson is there as well, Bruni, phenomenal riding this month with 2 second places. You know, she's finished with some great rides as they roll through the Ferrari showroom at the moment. They'll come out the other side and they'll see that first sprint section. Will they do what all the other riders have done and roll through the section? Now, I think probably yes. Matt's nodding on the other side of the studio. He agrees. Now, will any of the riders challenge that assumption that we have in the studio? Well, only time will tell, but the team at the moment, the group at the moment, rolling through at a very steady pace. I think Gina De Gracia from the Pedal Queens in Category 3 may find herself with the fastest time overall through the sprint section today. Well, the Aldar HQ sprint being the first of 5 sprints today, coming at the 2 kilometre mark. And this pack just rolling through comfortably. Not even anyone seeming to stretch off the front to pick up the fastest pace. It's going to be interesting to see who ends up in that green skin suit in Category 1, because nobody even went off the front. So Gina De Gracia is indeed confirmed with the fastest time through the sprint section. Well, the first sprint section today with a time of 27.56 seconds. Carolina Quick coming through with 0.412. Alzat in third, Takanis, Giuliano, Sonnerson, Belchan, Zabala and Barragan. Rounding out the top 9, Hadlock coming through in 10th place. The fastest Category 1 rider, Tidholm, coming through in 27th. So just showing you the steady state start of the Category 1 pack. Now there's a good tongue twister. The steady state start. Well, it has indeed been a steady state start for the Category 1 pack today. We can see them at 2.9 kilometres into this race. Category 2, they're at 6k. Category 3 at 9.4 kilometres. You can see the polka dot banner in front of them. That's the start of the aquarium climb. Category 4, they are well and truly further up the road. Now, this group of Category 3 riders, it's looking like we've got one rider just off the back at the moment, but Idzik, Giuliano, Sonnerson, Alzat, Zabala, De Grazia, Warren, all in the mix at the moment. They are coming through and on to the aquarium climb. Now, the aquarium climb, 3.5 kilometres of climbing, 2.9% average gradient. But as you can see at the moment, the first part of this climb, quite a steep little kicker, just shy of 5.5%. We can see Holweiler up and out of the saddle, pushing on those pedals to try and ensure she stays towards the front of the pack and doesn't get dropped off the back. Rebecca Johnson is, as we would expect, on a climb towards the front of this group. Indeed, she took the win last time on the Yebel Hafit in Category 3. Piccolo, who has been riding well, she is up there too. Elavink, ever present and ever strong. Takanis is here as well. So it is a class field of Category 3 riders, and we are indeed starting to see the telling tales in this climb today. The legs already going on some of our riders. Stefani Piccolo, you can see the concentration on her face, ensuring she's with the leading group in Category 2 and not being dropped off the back. Now, interesting to see Jackie Giuliano just 1 second back. Natalia Idzik also 1 second back. Now, those two riders needing to squeeze on the pedals, needing to close that gap down and ensure that they move to the front of the group. Barragan is there, Vink is there, Piccolo, Holweiler. They are there. Johnson right at the front of the group with Hadlock and Takanis. In fact, Hadlock and Takanis just stretching the group at the front. This is a challenging move by them because you can see on that bottom left-hand corner of the screen, the group now about to fracture again. So as the Category 3 group really starts to fracture on the aquarium climb, you can see the red dots further up the road. They are indeed the Category 4 jerseys. And you can see that peloton absolutely split apart now, but there's still a large leading group. 26 riders started today on the Category 4 start sheets. And you can see this leading group does indeed contain the green skin suit of Jenny Tan. She took the fastest time in Category 4 through the earlier sprints, but she's not the only person in here. This is a good strong group still at this 12-kilometre mark. Nikki Lloyd is there. You can see her. Sarasuk is there. Alzat. Navarez is there as well, so is Vasquez, so is Alicia Filder, Kirchner too. It is indeed a strong race field continuing to move through the parkour in Category 4. Well, back in with Category 1 and Category 2, you can see Category 1 coming up to that 5-kilometre mark. This is the second sprint, the Dubai Mall sprint, that the Category 1 riders are coming through, and you can see a bit more of a stretch on this group at the moment. They are actually moving a lot quicker than through the first sprint of the day. Manshandi, Van Hove, Bruni, Sidlik is in the mix here as well. Amelia Velt up at 5 watts per kilo at the moment. So we've got a rider off the front of the group pushing here. Nordin is the rider in the mix that we are with at the moment. But it's Kulczynski who's gone off the front. Kulczynski wants that green skin suit. Will she be awarded it, or will we wait and see until the rest of the group have come through? So, Category 1 coming through the Dubai Mall sprint. Wow, Kristen Kulczynski from the Peak Performers taking top spot, 29 seconds, 0.138, just ahead, and I mean just ahead, 0.254 ahead of Rosalina Barragan from the Megawatt squad in Category 3. Great job by her. Fua in third place, Penna, Whitelaw, Gonzalez, Rua, Bjarhead, Engstrom, Larson, and indeed Merle Bruni rounding out the top 10. Now, through that first sprint, we saw the Category 1 riders coming through around 30th position on the road. All change in that second sprint. The Dubai Mall sprint allowing those Category 1 riders to stretch their legs. There's one more sprint before the aquarium climb for our Category 1 riders. It's the downtown sprint coming at 8 kilometres into this race, so they're just under 2 kilometres shy of the sprint. Currently, it's Laura Takalis from the Megawatt squad in Category 3 who is fastest through the downtown sprint at the moment. Well, interesting to see Kulczynski continuing to push on after riding through the sprint. In fact, that's really picked the pace up from the pack in Category 1. So Kulczynski continuing to push on the front. Bruni now paying attention, so is Kalman. Whitelaw is right up to the front of the group as well as Gabriella Norden. So great to see the riders now really starting to push on and think about not letting Kulczynski get away. We have seen riders utilise the sprints as attacked points. So as Kulczynski starts to be reeled in by the rest of the Category 1 race field, 3 kilometres up the road are the Category 2 race field. So they're at 9.6 kilometres. They are now coming on to the aquarium climb. Being led onto the aquarium climb, and the whole group looking like it is still together. They can really start to see the stretch now. This is a steep section. It's 5.5% at the moment. Wendy McAlpine, she's right in the mix here, but so's Vittori, Embring, Miller, Sanchez, Prado, Kong, all the riders we would expect to see in that Category 2 race right up the front of that pack. Now, Category 4, they've gone up the climb, they've gone over the top, and it's Nikki Lloyd who has gone into the polka dot skin suit, indicating the fastest time up and over the aquarium climb today. So Lloyd and Sarasuk 1 and 2 over the aquarium climb. Great to see Nikki Lloyd back in form. She took a break away from the Sunday Race Cup. It's taken her a few weeks to find her legs, but find her legs she has done. So Nikki Lloyd, part and parcel of the Petit Four squad, I think probably one of the strongest squads at the moment in the Category 4 race field. It's going to be interesting to see whether she can keep that polka dot jersey, well, the polka dot skin suit, to the top of the Yebel her feet later. I think she's going to have a lot of competition on that climb. So Category 4 at 14 kilometres, Category 3 just over 12.5, Category 2 10.3, and Category 1 7.7 kilometres into this 35 kilometre race. Now, if you are new to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club and watching us for the first time, Category 4 are indeed the riders out of the start pen first. So they head off and out. 5 minutes later, Category 3 leave the start pen. A further 5 minutes, it's to Category 2. And then our last group of riders coming out of the start pen, Category 1, 15 minutes after Category 4. All 4 race groups on the same course at the same time, and Category 4 often staying the leaders on the road for some time into the race, occasionally right the way to the finish line. So it's going to be really interesting to see whether we see any catches today. I am expecting that we do indeed see Category 1 come over the line first because of the big climb at the end, but they're not having it all their own way on the sprints today. So our third sprint of the day, the downtown sprint, Laura Takalis from that Megawatt squad in Category 3, indeed setting the fastest time, 21.341 seconds, closely followed by Zabala from the Wildcats in Cat 3. Jenny Tan, who's been pushing and setting the fastest time in the sprints in Category 4, resplendent in her green skin suit, coming in third there, Piccolo de Grazia, Zuala, Sonnerson, Marin and Giuliano. German Prado from Category 2 coming in 10th position. Our Category 1 riders fastest rider in category 1, Vicky Whitelaw, 45th position. So category 1 taking it very steady through that sprint. They'll be coming up to the aquarium climb shortly. In fact, you can see they are just coming up to the 9-kilometre mark, and you can take a look at the course on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. They're going to take a right-hand turn, and then they're going to see that polka dot banner signifying the start of the aquarium climb. I think we're going to see some action on that climb. Seeing a little bit of a push come on at the front, but a fairly steady pace. So Sophie Giovanni, she is watching and waiting. They all know the potential for something to happen on this 3.5-kilometre climb. It's split the other race fields. Is it going to split category 1? Well, Matt seems to think so. He's nodding over at the controls in the studio. But we are currently taking a look at the Category 1 pack coming towards the polka dot banner of the aquarium climb. Larson, Whitelaw, Giovanni, Kolczynski, Kalman, Sidlick, Fuhr. They are all in the group. So is Norden, Bjarhead and Bruni. It's a strong group. Very little has happened to this group of riders other than they have progressed through to 9.6 kilometres and the aquarium climb. It's going to be interesting to see what then happens. So category 1 pushing on at the moment. They're on the aquarium climb. Currently, it's Karolina Chudzikowicz who has set the fastest time up the climb from the Caramello Koalas in category 3. So category 3 already up and over the climb. Category 4 as well. Nikki Lloyd setting the fastest time up from category 4 with Sarasuk in 2 and Jones in 3. This is category 1 and they are all still together. So category 1 up and over the steep start of this aquarium climb. The gradient now dropping down to 1.5%, but you can see the concentration on Marlene Bjarhead's face at the moment as she continues to push the group, starting to stretch. And you can see on that left-hand graphic, the riders in the other categories further up the road. Well, the category 1 riders are not paying any attention to that. They're paying attention to what is happening in their own race field at the moment. And what is happening at the moment is the category 1 group are all together on the climb at 10.3 kilometres. Category 2, well, they are nearly at the top of the aquarium climb, and it's still a large group of riders. They've shed 1 or 2 category 2 riders, but they're at 12.5 kilometres into the race. Category 3, 16.5 kilometres into the race, and you can see again a strong leading group. Category 4, 17.5 kilometres are on this transition. They'll be coming up to the Silent Dunes sprint shortly, but again, a good sized group. Now, let's take a look. We said it was the May final. Let's take a look at the prize money today. So it is indeed the final. So the team's classification is in play. In category 4 in the individual classification, it's 2,160 AED for first, through to 432 AED for fifth. In the team's classification, that first place team today will take away 10,800 AED, down to fifth place team taking away 1,080. Now, as we progress through the categories, the prize money grows. In the individual classification day, first place taking away 3,600 AED. You can see down to fifth place. In the team's classification, it is up to 18,000 AED today. Second place, 10,800, right down to fifth. And of course, all the prize money equal between the women's and the men's. So you'll see exactly the same graphic later in the men's race. This monthly competition, the individual classification in category 2, 6,000 AED for the win, 30,000 AED for first place in the team's classification today. Now, if you think that was a lot, category 1, well, they are fighting for 10,000 AED for the first place today over the line, and 50,000 AED for the first place team, down to 5,000 AED for the fifth place team. Now, we said tactics were going to come into play today, and that's the reason tactics are going to come into play, because the teams are fighting for it. In Category 1 last month, it was the Sweet Sensations from Ablock International, and 1 minute 20 seconds separating those two teams. Now, when you bear in mind that it's the top 3 riders in the team, they add together their time to give you the team competition. The fact that it's 1 minute 20 is really good. Now, it might be really good, but it was 1 minute and 9 seconds in Category 2 between the top 2 teams, 1 minute and 39 seconds in Category 4, but it was just 34 seconds in Category 3 last month. So the competition can be exceptionally close for that prize money. And whilst we have been chatting, Matt has been sat in the corner of the studio. We changed. There's no Emma's exchange today. It's Matt's exchange. And I can see in front of me, we can't let him talk because unfortunately he has no voice. But he has indeed chosen the United States dollar. Well, I think that's because Kolchinsky went out on that sprint. But, okay, so 10,000 AED. Today, as of Matt's exchange, 2,722 US dollars. Well, Hadlock here in Category 3 as we move back into the racing. Coming up to that 18-kilometre mark, this is the start of the Silent June sprint. They are up and through. The aquarium climb. They have dropped down into the tunnel. They've come back out of the tunnel section, and this is a Silent June sprint. Now, taking a look at the size of this Category 3 group, it's still really strong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 riders, I think, in this Category 3 group. Vink is here, Kokkonen, Hadlock, Piccolo, Johnson, Takanis, Beltran, and Giuliano. Oh, that's really interesting to see. It's Giuliano and Alzat who are just being distanced off the back there. De Grazia, one of the early movers in Category 3, now 43 seconds back of this leading group. But this really is, in this Category 3 group now, the best climbers. These are the riders you would expect to see rolling into the Jebel-Hafid together. Who comes out on top will be really interesting. But what is also interesting is Amelia Velt has gone off the front in the Category 1 race. She's really pushed up and over the top of the aquarium climb. That is the polka dot banner. She's probably going to take the polka dot skin suit, but is she going to carry on with this attack? There you go. Her clothing changes from the yellow jersey to the polka dot skin suit as the rest of the pack roll through behind. Now, what is going to happen? She takes away that jersey. Will she continue this attack? So the aquarium climb today, 6 minutes 41 seconds for Amelia Velt, just shy of 5 seconds quicker than the rest of the Category 1 pack. Bruni, Bjarhed, Van Hoveman, Shandy, Sidlik, Fua, Giovanni and Larson. Kalman rounding out the top 10. 17 riders in that leading group in the Category 1 race. Now, Lam Kong from the Velociraptors setting the fastest time in Category 2. Lisa Hermansen from Team Collide in second place. In Category 3, it was indeed just double checking Chizikowicz, and then in Category 4, as I continue to scroll through, it was indeed Nikki Lloyd from that Petty 4 squad. So up and over the aquarium climb, all of our race categories are through that section now, and Category 1 rolling down the other side. We've got the Bruni just off the front at the moment and staying off the front. In fact, that may well be, actually that's Amelia Velt off the front there because she's in the polka dot skin suit. So Velt off the front of this Category 1 pack, but 16 riders in that chase group. They're going to bring Amelia Velt from the Sweet Sensations back together, pull her back into the pen as they continue to roll and race in this Category 1 race field. Sweeping around this right-hand corner, you can see Catherine Fua. She's got to be one of the favourites today, if not the favourite. She is the rider on superb form at the moment. She had 3 wins this month. In fact, I'm just taking a little look back. She's had 3 wins this month and she won the April final. So the last 4 races, she has indeed taken the win. The last 5, in fact, it was qualifier 2 in April where Merle Bruni actually won on the outer loop in Australia. That was the last time Catherine Fua was not on the top spot, but do not imagine, viewers, that she has had it easy, because I can guarantee from watching this race week in, week out, she is run to the line every week. So run to the line every week. Last week it was Fua, Bruni and Kulczynski. The week before it was Fua, Kulczynski and Bruni. The week before that it was Fua, Velt and Kulczynski. So the women absolutely on fire and pushing each other to the line each week. In Category 1, also in Category 2, the Category 2 race field 2.3 kilometres further down the road than Category 1 at the moment. They're coming underneath the Silent June Sprint, and that's the start of the Silent June Sprint. They're now starting to mop up the back markers in the Category 3 and Category 4 race. But this is a big group of riders. I want to say nearly 20 riders in that leading Category 2 race. Weston, Kasani, Embring, Wagner, Smithers, London, Walkenhurst, Yaramillo, all still in the mix. This is a really good group. So Anna Embring there on our screen. She's part and parcel of this group. We can see coming through the Silent June Sprint in Category 2, not pushing hard at all. So really interesting to see. So as we see, Carla Lenore has set the fastest time through there at the moment, and only Category 1 still to roll through. So great riding from the Category 4 rider as we're in with Dana Wagner. Dana Wagner part and parcel of this group at the moment. She's surrounded by Miller, Vittori, Prado, McAlpine, Manson, Montgomery. I'm like listing the riders thinking, that's a group of riders I don't want to be surrounded by. Well, Wagner is surrounded by those riders, and she's rising to the challenge at the moment because they are on a short climb at the moment. It's not categorized, it's not part and parcel of the profile of the climbing today, but it does come after the Silent June Sprint. You can see that on the top right hand corner of your screen. It's not done any damage to these Category 2 riders. So interesting to see the fact that whilst the legs were stretched, no damage has yet been done to this large leading group in the Category 2 race. Can you start? Okay. So Molly Weston wiping her brow because the work having to be done to stay in this group, well, the concentration and the work is hard. But, well, at 19.3 kilometres, that climb, the Jebel Hafit, 9.5 kilometres with an average gradient of 7%. It comes at the 25.4 kilometre mark. There is indeed 12.4 kilometres of the course between the top of the aquarium climb and the bottom of the Jebel Hafit, and that is where at the moment most, well in fact all of our race categories are, and you can see them there. Category 1 17.6 kilometres, Category 4 leader at 22.7, 5 kilometres pretty much separating Category 1 with the leader in Category 4. And it's Alvarez who is leading at the moment. She's the leader on the road. She's the leader of Category 4, but she's got a very short, shy lead at the moment. Just 1 second from Vasquez, 2 seconds from Jones and Tan, as well as Kirchner. In fact, there you go. The pack have rolled her back in. In Category 3, well, they are only 400 metres behind the leading group in Category 4. Very, very shortly, we are going to see these two groups come together before they get to the base of the Jebel Hafit. Well, Category 3 reeling in Category 4. They started 5 minutes behind them, but the pace of the field really motoring in that Category 3 race into the bottom of the Jebel Hafit climb. Category 1, well, take a look up the road. You can see at the moment they're coming through the Silent Dune Sprint. But up the road ahead of them, you can see the back markers in the Category 2 race field. Those are the green dots up ahead. Blue dots as well, signifying Category 3 riders up there as well. So the Category 1 pack really motoring now. 17 riders in this leading group. Nelly Larsen is technically the rider who goes through the sprint first. But the question is, have Category 1 set the fastest time? They have indeed. And take a look at that. Sophie Giovanni goes through 27.887 seconds. It's the Silent Dune Sprint. The rest of that pack of Category 1 riders, they are there behind. So Fuat Larsen, Gonzalez, Ruapena, Sidlik Manshandi, Kalman, Nordin, Tidholm, Bruni and Velt are the top 12. Carla Lenore hangs on, the Category 4 rider from Kintsugi, to 13th place overall. Julia Walkenhurst setting the fastest time for Category 2. And Kokkonen, Novelin Kokkonen setting the fastest time for the Megawatt squad, 24th place overall in Category 3. So Nelly Larsen, part and parcel of the mix here. She's got company in the pain cave. They are watching the race, and I'm hoping giving encouragement as well, as they just hit this little short, sharp climb as they continue to progress, or as the Category 1 race continues to progress between the top of the aquarium climb and the bottom of the Jebel Hafit. In fact, I think it's a family entertainment at the moment, the Sunday Race Club in Nelly Larsen's household. So Larsen pushing on, part and parcel of this large 17 rider strong Category 1 leading group. I think we're going to see all 17 riders go into the bottom of the Jebel Hafit unless somebody has a problem between now and then, but it's not far. It is, I'm just taking a little look. It's 5.2 kilometers to get to the base of the Jebel Hafit. We've got one rider just actually talking about having problems off the back of the group, just as the Category 1 pack come onto the back of some Category 2 back markers. So Kolchinsky is there, Velt, Bjarhed, Norden. They are moving up and through. Emily Mabin is one of the riders in Category 2, so is Brittany Litton, that are going to be picked up by this pack. The question is, can they now stay with this pack and take a tow to the bottom of the Jebel Hafit? Taking a little look, the leaders in Category 2, they are about 1.5 kilometres down the road, but these are the leaders in Category 3 and the leaders in Category 4, and there's about 300 metres separating them. So Johnson, Piccolo, Kokkonen, Hadlock, Takanis, Barragan and Vink, all in the leading group in the Category 3 race. Category 4 on the right-hand side of your screen, 300 metres further down the road. They are going to see the polka dot banner of the Jebel Hafit first, but Alvarez, Jones, I tell you what, there's 11 riders in this group at the moment, 11 riders in this leading group in Category 4. Phenomenal effort from these riders. So Vasquez, Fielder, Jones, Barco, Alzat, all in here. Baggett is here as well. Alvarez right on the front as she goes underneath the polka dot banner, taking the squad through. Elos in 2, Fielder in 3. These riders now moving strongly. So 11 riders in the Category 4 leading group go onto the Jebel Hafit. They're the first race field onto the climb today, very shortly being followed by the Category 3 race field. This is the Category 3 field. That is the polka dot banner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that's 7, 8 riders in that Category 3 race leading field. Johnson, Kokkonen, Vink, Barragan, Piccolo, Hadlock, Beltran, all in this group. This is a consummate group of climbers. It is, if you look down the start list of the Category 3 group and you go, big climb at the end, who's going to be at the front? Well, you wouldn't be missing any of those names. Category 4 leaders now on the Yebel Hafit. The climb is steep early on here, so 11% under the wheels of the Category 4 riders. A little bit further back down the mountain, it's 7-8% now under the wheels of the Category 3 riders. It's Piccolo and Johnson coming towards the front. Hadlock is paying close attention to what's going on, not wanting to let anybody go. Neither is Takarnis. Now, these riders are really strong. In fact, it was Johnson who took the win here last time, but Piccolo is the rider leading them on to the back of the Category 4 leading pack. So we're about to see 19 riders come together across Categories 3 and 4, the two leading groups. You can see behind this Category 3 group on the climb on that bottom left-hand side of your screen is another large group of Category 4 riders. They are the chasing riders, and they're chasing the 11 riders up the road. Early sprint protagonist Jenny Tan is the first rider who's going to be caught. She's with Alicia Fielder off the back of the Category 4 group. This is a really steep section at the moment. It's over 10% as Hadlock and Piccolo, Takarnis and Johnson, Barragan and Kokkonen tap their way up the Yebel Hafit. These are the early stages, and they start to work their way past the leading 11 in the Category 4 race field. So our Category 4 leaders now being picked up by the leaders in the Category 3 race. But we've still got 8 riders up the road. So Piccolo is the rider from Category 3 who's leading this out. But she's pretty much side by side with Angel Hadlock. So Hadlock, Piccolo, Takarnis comes up as well. So these riders, Barragan is there as well. Now, great move by Barragan to get herself positioned into this group. Rosalina Barragan moving strongly. Adriana Barco, well, she's on our screen. Well, no, sorry, Stefani Piccolo is on our screen at the moment. And she's really in the mix here, side by side with Rebecca Johnson. They are motoring up this mountain, moving their way now into and towards that group ahead. You can see if they lift their heads, there you go, look at those avatars working toward her, just lifting their heads up on this climb, and they can see that leading group now of Category 4 riders. 7 riders now in that leading group. So the 7 riders in the leading group of Category 4 absolutely motoring on this climb, but they are now caught from the Category 3 riders as they go past. So Piccolo is the rider moving forward with Hadlock. 2 Category 3 riders now working their way up this mountain. Vasquez, Baggett, Jones, Alzat, Elos are the riders who have been passed in the Category 4 race. Now, they may well have been passed by Category 3, but they are going to fight hard for the win in Category 4. Hadlock is up and out the saddle. You can see her with the bikes behind her. She also has company keeping her side by side in real life, as well as company from Stefani Piccolo on the race at the moment. So Piccolo and Hadlock, Johnson and Takarnis, Barragan are the top 5 riders in the Category 3 race. Kirchner and Vasquez are the top 2 in Category 4 at the moment. Now 15 seconds back from the leading 5 in that Category 3 race. Well, Category 3 and Category 4 are battling it out on the Yebel Hafit. So now our Category 2 leaders now up and under the polka dot banner onto the Yebel Hafit. This is also a big group. So this group is a big group of Category 2 riders. McAlpine, Sanchez, Vittori, London, Montgomery, Kansani, Kong and Embring all in here. So the group motoring and the push now coming on the front, and the seconds now starting to distance from McAlpine at the front, so she's pushing on. So is Stefania Sanchez. The stretch now coming onto the group. Around 12 riders in this leading group in category 2 at the moment. In fact, it's actually Lisa Hermansen right up at the front with Prado and McAlpine. Sanchez now 2 seconds back with Vittori and Embring. Cassani is there as well. It is indeed Lisa Hermansen. She's got the bit between her teeth at the moment. Hermansen from Team Collide. Now, Team Collide were the team that we said would be strong today. Hermansen, Embring, Prado, London and Cassani. The 5 riders from Team Collide. In fact, there indeed is Prado on our screens. She's rider P2 on the road in this category 2 race. She's with Hermansen, she's with Embring, she's with Cassani. So she is with her teammates. So strong riding from Team Collide in this monthly final. They've put riders up the road. They've put their riders in top position here. Vittori from the Globetrotters is in the mix, but the mix is Team Collide. So Team Collide dominating this category 2 race at the moment. 6 riders now in the leading group with a few seconds separating back. In fact, look at that. We can drop in with Cassani as well. She's had a first and 2 seconds this month throughout May. Phenomenal form from Cassani. Great to see that form there. Will it take her through to the top today? But, well, who knows? But 6 riders now in the mix in this category 2 race, and Team Collide are dominating. Well, whilst Team Collide dominate the category 2 race at 25.2 kilometres, there it is, category 1 can see the polka dot banner signifying the start of the Jebel Hafit. So facing our category 1 riders, 9.5 kilometres of climbing, a 7% average gradient. When they get to the polka dot banner at the top of the Jebel Hafit, there will be 500 metres to go until the finish line. Nelly Larsen, Merle Bruni, they are the 2 riders at the front of this pack leading it out as Nelly Larsen moves on. Stidlik is there as well. Bruni is there. So is Fua and Biarhead. Whitehead in the mix. Absolutely on form, on fire today. Tidholm is there as well. And Stephanie Sidlik. So the riders pushing on in category 1. It is indeed interesting to see Catherine Fua in that green skin suit. So riders in category 1 are going to have to pay close attention at the moment to Fua, because she's in that green skin suit, and once they start working their way through the category 2 riders, she's going to be less easy to pick out. So Whitelaw, Van Hove, Fua, Velt, all in the mix here. They're going to swing round to the right hand corner and start to work their way through the back markers in the category 3 and 4 race. You can see they've now dropped the category 2 riders that had taken the tow from the Silent Dunes sprint. This now is a category 1 race, and for me, the race has just begun. 17 riders in this category 1 race field went into the base of the Jebel Hafit together. This now is it. This is where the race starts. To be honest, 25.4 kilometres of warm-up, 9.5 kilometres of racing. Let's go. Kolczynski, Biarhead, Fua, Nordin, Whitehead, Penner, Tidholm, Larsen, Van Hove, Bruni, Sidlik, all in the mix here. The group really starting to motor. This is a small respite on the climb. It's been very steep. They've now got a flat section and a little run in to close the gaps down that are starting to be formed. But if the gaps have started to be formed early, wait till we get further up this mountain. You can see on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen the other race categories, the 3 race categories, already up the mountain. They're already up and well and truly on the Jebel Hafit, fighting it out for the win in the individual competition in each of the categories, as well as the team competition in each of the categories today. And it's Kolczynski who's come to the top. Now, she has been absolutely dominant in the hill climbs in the USA at the moment, setting not just winning times, but fastest PBs on those climbs. They're not just her personal bests. They are everybody's personal bests. She is absolutely dominating the hill climbing scene in the US. Can she dominate the hill climbing scene here on the Jebel Hafit today? Well, Larson, Kalman, Giavove, Tidholm and Engstrom are going to have something to say about that. They are here, they are motoring, and they want a top spot today. Category 1 have now spread down the hillside, but everybody is still in contention. It's interesting to see there. Penna, Nordin, now 6 seconds back. They are just started to drop off the group, but the group is still large. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 riders, I think, still in that leading group. The rest of them not too far out of contention either. As we jump to Prado, she's currently leading the Category 2 race, and she's well and truly working her way now into the top 20 on the race as Prado continues to motor. She's at 27.7 kilometres, and you can see there she's got I was going to say she's got a significant gap. She's got a 6-second gap on Lisa Hermansen in that Category 2 race. They are split by Category 4 riders. It's 10 seconds back to McAlpine. She's P3, but she's got Kasani for company as well in that Category 2 race. So that is absolutely a fight going on, because Hermansen is closing the gap on Prado, you know. So Lisa Hermansen's got the bit between her teeth in this Category 2 race, absolutely trying to close down Jeremy Prado. So Prado pushing on, leading this Category 2 race at the moment, and the chase is coming on behind. But Team Collide, and we said this early on in Category 2, Praden, Hermansen and Kasani, they are currently 3 of the top 4 riders in Category 2. They are all on the same team, Team Collide. Wendy McAlpine from the Velociraptors, she is also in the mix at the moment. They are all within 10 seconds of each other, but those 3 riders from Team Collide have got to be cheering each other on, as well as working on their own efforts at the moment. Hermansen 3 seconds back from Prado, 10 seconds back to McAlpine and Kasani. As on the right hand side of your screen, this is our leader on the road at the moment, Stefani Piccolo. This is the Category 3 leader at the moment. She's 7 seconds on Hadlock, 20 seconds on Takanis, Barragan, Johnson. They are the top 5 in Category 3. Beltran and Kokkonen are now a minute back. So 5 riders clear in the Category 3 race, 20 seconds separating 1 to 5. So the race is all on, and they've still got a long way to go. So talking about a long way to go, it is indeed 6.4 kilometres to the finish line for Piccolo. She's the leader on the road at the moment. She's leading the Category 3 race. Can she maintain that to the finish? Well, we will see. Category 1, 27.6. Category 2, 28.3. Category 3, 28.7. Category 4 leaders, 28.5. There is not a lot separating these riders at the moment who are leading the categories. 1 kilometre to be precise. They are all on the Jebel Hafit, and that is Kolchinsky who is leading Category 1. Let's take a little look at the climb that these riders are facing. You can see on the profile coming up here in the Arabia World, this is the Jebel Hafit racecourse. Our riders having transitioned through to that 25.4 kilometre mark for the start of the Jebel Hafit. They've done the steep, short, sharp section at the first front. They've then moved on now to the next steps, 9.5 kilometres of climbing, an average gradient of 7%. And there are stepped sections along the way, as you can see, where there is a small respite in the gradient. The steepest gradient coming about a third of the way up, at around 13%. This climb will challenge our riders. However, I say that when we were last on the Jebel Hafit, in Category 1, Soderstrom took it by 3 seconds from Catherine Fua. It was a 27-second gap between first and second in category 2, a 40-second gap in category 3, and a 21-second gap in category 4. So that tells me we are going to expect close racing on the way up this climb. We will see riders ride away and have lone victories in their categories, but do not expect the gaps to be huge. And you can see that here. Take a look. This is the category 2 race leaders working their way through a large group of category 4 riders on the climb at the moment, absolutely pushing on up the mountain. Leaders in this category 2 race all looking like they're coming back together again. So we've got Hermansen, Prado, McAlpine and Kasani, the 4 riders that we did see split last time we were with them, now all together as a group. Now, interesting move here. Vittori is the next category 2 rider. She is just 3 seconds behind this group. So we've got a leading group of 4 in the category 2 race. 2 seconds back to Vittori. I think Vittori is going to join this group, and we're going to see a leading group of 5. In fact, there you go. Vittori has indeed joined the group. So we've got a leading group of 5 riders in category 2. So 5 riders in category 2, now all in one group. They're at 28.9 kilometres. So coming up to the 29 kilometre mark, 6 kilometres to go in the race for the leaders in category 2. Just gone past Ella Vink, one of the very strong riders in category 3. And it looks like to me they've also gone past the leaders in category 4. Now just double checking. Jones, Baggett and Vasquez are the leaders in category 4 at the moment. They are the riders that this group of category 2 leaders have just gone past. So Jones, Baggett and Vasquez battling it out in category 4. Vink working her way through the race field in category 3. In category 2, we've got 5 riders leading this out on the climb. And in category 1, it is Kolczynski by 3 seconds from Bruni, and Fua is chasing in 3rd. So the 3 leaders in the category 4 race, all on different teams. So that team competition absolutely open in category 4. Category 2 continuing to work. They are indeed. So McAlpine, Prado, Vittori, Hermansen. Kasani is the rider being dropped. Now this is really interesting because they are all changed continuing. We can see McAlpine, we can see Kasani, we can see Prado. The riders are working so hard at the moment on the climb. You can see the grimace on their faces. It is indeed a grimace on their faces, trying to suck in the air, trying to manage their effort but stay with the group. I'm not sure there's much managing of effort at the moment. It is absolutely all out. Prado's heart rate 185. Vittori, McAlpine, Hermansen. No one wants to get dropped by the group. Kasani now 8 seconds back as this group of 4 in the category 2 race now progress towards the last 5.5 kilometres of racing. They've got 5.5 kilometres to go in the category 2 race. They've got 6 category 3 riders ahead of them. The rider they are now up onto the back wheel of, Lorena Beltran. She is off the group of leaders in that category 3 race. 5 riders down the road. In fact, on the right hand side of your screen, 300 metres ahead of the charging category 2 leaders. Piccolo is leading this category 3 race. 34 seconds on the chasers, and those chasers are Hadlock, Johnson and Barragan. Takarnas is there as well. And that is interesting because those 4 riders are so strong. If Piccolo puts a foot wrong, they will be on her. They are absolutely class riders in this category 3 race. Piccolo, Johnson, Barragan, Hadlock and Takarnas. Interesting to see where they are in terms of that team competition. So we will bring that to you shortly. But fight is on in all of these categories. Jones, look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 riders in the group in the category 4 race. So still battling that out at the moment as well. So it's looking like we have Ferron, Jones, Baggett, Elos and Vasquez in that category 4 race. So real fighting it out there. So absolutely. And do you know what? That category 4 race, I know we're looking at Kristen Kolczynski at the moment, the leader in the category 1, but I am just going to talk about this category 4 race because to me, on my quick little glance at my start sheet, those riders are all in different teams. Seriously impressive work in that category 4 race. That team competition is going to be wide open as well. Well, wide open at the moment is the attack from Kristen Kolczynski. We knew she climbed strongly and she is climbing strongly. Fua has moved from 3rd place into 2nd place and she is moving now through. Well, actually she hasn't because Merle Bruni is still up the road. So Fua in 3rd place and she's up and out the saddle. She's trying to close down Bruni. Bruni 14 seconds ahead of her. Kolczynski is even further up the mountain at the moment. So this is a climber's, I was going to say this is a climber's paradise, but I'm not sure this is paradise for any of our riders. So Fua in 3rd place, Bruni in 2nd, Kolczynski 31 seconds ahead at the moment of Catherine Fua. I'm going to say that again. Kolczynski, I almost fell off my chair, I think. Kolczynski is 31 seconds ahead of Catherine Fua. Now, has Kolczynski gone too early? Can she take this to the top of the Jebel Hafit? This, for me, has got to be her best shot because this course has got Kristen Kolczynski's name written all over it. It is a climb to the finish line. It is not a drop off the other side and a run into the sprint. It is a climb to the finish line. So Kolczynski leading the category 1 race, being chased hard, but now 30 plus seconds clear of Fua. She's 20 seconds clear of 2nd place. And you know what? She's 100 metres away from the front of the Category 2 race. She has worked her way up and through the race field. She's now worked her way into the top 10 overall. And just remember, viewers, the Category 1 riders started 15 minutes behind Category 4, 10 minutes behind Category 3 and 5 minutes behind Category 2. Well, you know, you can follow our riders on social media and find out what else they are doing in the world of cycle sport. You can follow MyWhoosh across all social media platforms. And of course, you can follow me at Biking Emma as well. Just keep up on board of what's going on outside of the Sunday Race Club. Keep up with what's going on inside of the Sunday Race Club, because MyWhoosh on social media will keep you up to date, and so will our riders. Now, at 30.5 kilometres into this 45 kilometre race, Kolczynski, the leader in the Category 1 race, now moves up into the top 10 overall. She's got Rebecca Johnson ahead of her. She's got Stefani Piccolo ahead of her. Those are the top 2 riders in Category 3. And she's got the 4 leaders in the Category 2 race with her: Vittori, McAlpine, Prado and Hermansen. Now, what is going to happen in this Category 2 race as Kolczynski rolls through? In my mind, Kolczynski's pace is too high for any of them to try and go with her. Yep, Kolczynski, she's continuing to tap the same pace. She's climbing into P2 on the road. Just Piccolo, the leader in Category 3, ahead of her. So, Piccolo leading Category 3, Kolczynski leading Category 1. Hermansen, McAlpine, Vittori and Prado, the 4 leaders of Category 2. Johnson then chasing. She's P2 in Category 3 and she's got Barragan for company. Well, it's all playing itself out on the Jebel Hafit climb today here in Arabia on the May final in the Sunday Race Club, as all of our categories are battling it out for the win here. Category 1 have been rolling for 58 minutes, and it's Kulczynski who's come to the fore. Mel Bruni is chasing her, and you know she is coming up. She's coming fast up that mountain. So Piccolo in 1 on the right hand side of your screen. She is still the leader on the road, and she is the leader in category 3. She's a minute up on second place. She's 40 seconds up on second place, and that is Rebecca Johnson, currently lying 7th on the road at the moment. And between those two riders, Kristen Kulczynski, who we've just seen come round the corner there, just bringing Piccolo into sight. She's leading the category 1 race. The 4 riders leading the category 2 race still neck and neck. Prado, Vittori, Hermansen and McAlpine, they're continually changing places, but they are still together as the leader on the road. Stefani Piccolo sees Kulczynski. Kulczynski comes up on her wheel. She goes up and round Piccolo. Piccolo's been the leader on the road for some time now. Fabulous job from Stefani Piccolo. She's held that lead on the road. She's still leading that category 3 race as she gets up and out of the saddle. Rebecca Johnson is her closest rival. Johnson took the win here last time we were on the Jebel Hafit in category 3 by 40 seconds. So great ride from Piccolo today. 3.7 kilometers left of this race for Kulczynski. She's moved into position 1 on the road. She's leading the category 1 race. Mel Bruni now moving up into 7th. She's joined, well, she's now on the back of the group of category 2 leaders. So she's going to be getting, there she is, you can see on the right hand side of your screen as she works her way through the group. That group is starting to split now as the gradient gets steep. So Mel Bruni, she's 20 seconds back from Kulczynski. She's continuing to tap her way through the rest of the race field behind. Starting to see some splits in that group of 4 in the category 2 race. Piccolo is indeed still leading the category 3 race, but Kulczynski motoring on at the front. Just doing a double check now at the moment on the pace differential between Bruni and Kulczynski. The gradient's very, very different at the moment, so hard to compare. Kulczynski at 4 watts per kilo. Bruni just shy of 5, just backing off the pace though, and she's continuing to move. So Kulczynski in 1, Bruni in 2. Fua now working her way up into the top 8 on the road in 3. She's in 3rd place in that category 1 race. There we see Piccolo now just being passed by Bruni, 2nd place in category 1. Then she's got Prado on her wheel now. Interesting, Prado just taking a little bit of a rest on the back wheel of Piccolo as Prado now comes past. She's leading the category 2 race. Hermansen is the rider in 2 there. She's just 5 seconds back from Prado. Bigger gap back to Vittori. It's another 10 seconds, and then McAlpine on Vittori's wheel. These 4 riders in this category 2 race absolutely fighting it out amongst each other. Prado working so hard now to stay clear of Hermansen, but can Hermansen claw her way back? We've seen this before earlier on down the climb, where these 4 riders were indeed distanced by some seconds from each other, and they came back together. Have we had so much climbing now? It is about whose legs have lasted the longest, and Prado's are the ones still working. Well, Kulczynski's legs are still working at the moment. She's P1 on the race. She's P1 on category 1. She's got 32 seconds on Mel Bruni. Fua further back down the mountain in 3rd place. Taking a little look here, about 250 meters back is Catherine Fua. Amelia Velt is also with Fua. So we've now got a race on for 3rd place on the Sunday Race Club in category 1. Velt and Fua are fighting out. Sidlick 30 seconds back down the mountain. So this is now all starting to play out, and well, we're going to take a little look at what this means for the team competition in category 1 in a moment. But at the moment we've got Kulczynski, we've got Bruni, we've got Fua, we've got Velt, and we've got Sidlick really working this out at the moment. So Velt, Fua and Bruni, all from the Sweet Sensations, all in the top 4. So dominant performance at the moment from the Sweet Sensations. Sidlick in 5. Part and parcel of the peak performance squad with Kolczynski, Bjarhead and Van Hove. So it's looking like the Sweet Sensations are dominant today in the team competition in category 1. But the peak performers, well, they are still pushing on and pushing hard with this competition. So Fua and Velt working hard. And interestingly, Velt has the polka dot jersey from the aquarium climb. Fua has the green skin suit from the sprints. So neither of them in the yellow jersey. So Velt and Fua side by side, currently fighting for 3rd place in this category 1 competition. Merle Bruni in 2nd, now around 25 to 30 seconds up the road. Separating Fredo and Hermansen, the 2 riders in 1st and 2nd in the category 2 competition. Now, can Hermansen take a jump and actually dig deep and go with Velt and Fua to take herself back up to Prado? It's going to be a big ask, but is it an ask too much of Hermansen, or is she going to be able to do it? As on the left-hand side of your screen, you can see Kolczynski. She's up and round the corner. This is a steep section on the climb, just tipped over 14%. So Kolczynski continues to work. Bruni 29 seconds back. Then we're taking a look at the gap back to Velt and Fua, 50 seconds at the moment. So Kolczynski doing what Kolczynski does, and that is climb. So Kolczynski climbing up the Jebelhafit at the moment. Bruni into Jeremy Prado is leading the category 2 race from Lisa Hermansen, but it's still only, well, I was going to say 10 seconds, but it is fluctuating. But I think that's around 10 seconds separating Prado and Hermansen, and Vittori is not far back. So as we continue to see the race unfold on the May final on the Sunday Race Club, we are taking a look back through the results to take, have we got a Kolczynski win? She says, there's a lot of top 3s. There's a lot of top 3s. I'm heading back in my results. Well, I don't. So I'm having a little bit of a look here. I don't think Kolczynski has taken a win in the Sunday Race Club. I have a 2nd place on the outer loop in qualifier 3 in March by 0.06 of a second from Bruni. Now that is as close as you could possibly come to a win by not taking a win, but a lot of second places and 3rd places. But this would be Kolczynski's first win on the Sunday Race Club if this maintains to the top, and I think she is on for her first win today. So Kolczynski from Bruni, from Fua, from Velt. The fight is on at the moment, still for 3rd place between Fua and Velt, but Prado and Hermansen are also fighting it out in category 2 at the moment. So as we continue to see this race unfold, should I say, Steph Sidlick actually in 5th place is only about 25 seconds back from Fua and Velt, and there is still 2 kilometers to go. So with 1.3 kilometers to go for Kolczynski, this race may well be sewn up. She's got 34 seconds from Bruni, 40 seconds from Fua and Velt, and then an additional, I'll take a look at that, she's 1 minute clear of 5th place, Steph Sidlick. But that is the category 1 race unfolding in front of you at the moment as Kolczynski moves into the final 1,000 meters of this race. .500 meters to go until Kolczynski sees the polka dot banner signifying the end of the Jebelhafit climb section. It's a category 1 climb. It is steep. It has an average gradient of 7%, but we have seen it kick to 14.5% beneath their wheels. The Jebel Hafit, it's an iconic climb, and it's an iconic race today because Kolczynski is at the top of the Category 1 race at the moment, and there is nobody in the distance behind her. If she turned her head over her shoulder at the moment, she would not see Merle Bruni in 2, Amelia Velt in 3, Catherine Fua in 4, or even Sidlick in 5, as she continues to push on now. She's going to come around the right-hand corner. She's going to take the left-hand turn, and she's going to see that polka dot banner. She's going to set the fastest time, I think, up this climb today, as Kolczynski sits in P1 in Category 1. She's 35 seconds clear of Merle Bruni. She's 50 seconds clear of the chase for third, and it is going to be a fight for third place between Fua and Velt. Steph Sidlick looks comfortable in 5th place today. In Category 2, it is Prado from Hermansen, and well, they are coming back together again. That's all I can say. I think we're going to see a sprint in that Category 2 race, but Kolczynski sets the fastest time up the Jebel Hafit today. She's going to come around the corner and see the finish line. She's got about 250 meters to go, as Kristen Kolczynski has ridden away from the Category 1 race field. So as Kristen Kolczynski comes around the corner, the banner, the UCI banner signifying the final of the Sunday Race Club, comes into sight. Kolczynski has done what Kolczynski is getting a world renowned for. She has climbed the Jebel Hafit in 1st place on the Sunday Race Club, and Kristen Kolczynski is going to come across the line to take the win in Category 1 on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. First win for Kolczynski. Phenomenal climbing. She takes your win in Category 1 today on the May final. So Kristen Kolczynski takes 1st place on the Sunday Race Club for the May final. Merle Bruni is going to come through in 2nd place. She's just got the final corner to do. Kolczynski from the Peak Performers, Bruni from the Sweet Sensations. These are the riders absolutely fighting it out. As we see Fua actually in 3rd place. She's now pushing on and attacking Amelia Velt for that 3rd place finish. She's pushing on and she's pushing hard. I don't think she's going to catch Bruni and take 2nd place, but she is indeed going to fight for 3rd. So Merle Bruni from the Sweet Sensations coming through in 2nd place behind Kolczynski for 2nd place in the women's Category 1 race. Catherine Fua has broken away from Amelia Velt for 3rd place. So Fua pushes on here. She's going to take 3rd place today behind Kolczynski and Brewer. But the Sweet Sensations having a phenomenal race here, because Bruni, Fua and Velt 2nd, 3rd and 4th today in this Category 1 race, all part of the Sweet Sensations. That is the team competition wrapped up as Amelia Velt comes through in 4th place. Stephanie Sidlick here is in 5th place at the moment in the Category 1 race. And right behind her is Germaine Prado. Prado, Category 2, started 5 minutes ahead of Category 1. And Prado and Hermansen have been fighting it out on the climb. At one point, there was a group of 4 Category 2 riders on this climb battling it out. Prado has now moved on. As we can see, Stephanie Sidlick moving through and under the UCI banner for 5th place in that Category 1 race. Prado kicking hard now to ensure the win in Category 2. So Germaine Prado is going to come through for the win in Category 2 today. Lisa Hermansen has not been able to make the catch. Prado takes 1st place in Category 2. So just to confirm the results today, Kristen Kolczynski from the Peak Performers taking the win today in 1 hour, 9 minutes and 48 seconds. 46 seconds ahead of Merle Bruni from the Sweet Sensations. Her teammate Catherine Fua coming through in 3rd, and The third counter in the Sweet Sensations team, Amelia Velt, coming through in 4th place. The second counter in the Peak Performers squad coming through in 5th, Stephanie Sidlick. And the third counter in the Peak Performers, Amelia Van Hove, coming through in 6th. Phenomenal racing in both the individual and the team competition. In category 2, Prado from Hermansen, from Vittori. That's 2 for Team Collide. Then the Globetrotter coming through, and Wendy McAlpine taking 4th place. Phenomenal racing by the women in the May final. It's been fantastic to be with you today. You can catch up with me at Biking Emma. You can catch up with MyWhoosh across all the social media platforms. Don't forget to give them a like and a follow. And you can also join us on MyWhoosh. Head over to mywhoosh.com. Download MyWhoosh or MyWhoosh Go, depending upon which platform you want to run on. Get on board your bike, have a go. You never know, we might see you on the start line of the Sunday Race Club. Well, I can't believe I'm about to say this. I'm going to be looking forward to the racing in June, but that will be next week. Tune in and join us for the men's race before then. Until then, stay safe, enjoy your riding. We'll see you again soon. Goodbye.